Hi there, my name is Killjoy and this is the demo for an indie game called Rainswept. Now, Rainswept is a murder mystery story where we play as a detective on the hunt for a murderer, as is expected. But it's got some heavy story elements and stuff and it's supposed to be pretty interesting. So let's get into it. Okay, E and keyboard or A and controller. Alright, I'm here. Time to see what this is all about. And those are my controls, good to know. I'm using controller for this, because I figured it'd be a little easier with side-scrolling and whatnot. That is my car. It's very car-shaped, although you can see my feet through it. How do I... Oh, that's my car. Beautiful. I just got here. I'm not going back now. Fair enough. Smoking in the rain. Ah, that's how I run. Right trigger. Okay. Another car. Now why would I do that? Oh, I just realized I tried to steal their car. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Terrible. What? I said terrible. Terrible business, all this. Huh. This was only a matter of time. Everyone knows that. I know. Still, they're so young. Young and stupid, you mean? The stories I've heard. I guess you're right. It was just a matter of time. What? It was a matter of time. It's really coming down today. We should get back home. A few more minutes. I want to see what happens. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna catch a cold, that's all. No, the kids want to see a dead body? I could show you a dead body. Alright, what's going on over here? Now, what's he up to? I don't know, looks like he's fixing the line. Ma'am, please, you need to step away a little. What's happened here? A murder? Johnny, get under the umbrella. Granny, I want to leave. Can I go back to the shop? Could see this coming a mile away. Ma'am, please. Granny, please. Alright, Johnny, let's go. There's no point standing here. I knew this would happen. We should have done something. There's nothing we could have done. Chris is responsible. I'm so sure. It's hard to disagree, but let's not speculate. A lot of people interested in this. Detective Anderson, right? The chief is inside. They've been waiting for you. You need to control the crowd, officer. You need to push the crowd further from the scene, officer. What? You'll have to speak up. I can't hear you over the rain. You're right, it's very loud. The crowd. Handle them. There could be evidence out here. Oh, yeah, I'm trying. Hey, Williams, what the hell are you doing? Trying to prop this tape up, sir. It won't stay. Well, get some sticks and drive them in. Yes, sir, Richard. Don't call for Richard. Richard's on leave. Do it yourself. Goodness. Sorry, Detective. Thing is, we're short on manpower here. We weren't prepared for this kind of thing. First time in decades. And to top it off, this rain out of nowhere. Just get the crowd under control. I'm heading inside. Yes, Detective. Don't worry. Richard? I mean, Williams. Yeah, Richard Williams. Okay, let's go inside. Away from this crowd. Should I go in? Yeah, I think I'm done here. No point hanging around out here. Oh, that's some murder. Damn. Oh God. That's the sheriff. I should talk to him first. I guess so. I mean, we got shot himself in the head, shot her in the stomach. There's the gun. Can I drink this wine? I mean, the glass is already poured. Might as well. Excuse me. Pardon me. Michael? Huh? Oh no, I'm dying. Detective, are you okay? I think so, yeah. Guess I'm just a little tired after the long drive here. Detective Anderson, right? The head office called in to say you'd be joining us here for this investigation. I'm Sheriff Harris, and this is Lieutenant Watt. We appreciate the department sending help, but I don't think we'll need it. This case is ready to be wrapped up. What do we have here? The victims here are Christopher Green, age 26, died from a bullet wound to the head, looks self-inflicted. And Diane Miller, age 24, single bullet wound through the abdomen. The victims lived together, were unmarried. Okay, any signs of an intruder? No signs of forced entry. The door was locked from the inside when we arrived. An officer climbed through the open window here to open the door. There are no footprints outside that window. Except the officer's. He was careful. No signs of struggle or marks on the bodies either. Okay, what about the time of death? According to the next door neighbor, a single gunshot was heard at 00:15 hours. We received a call at about 00:20 hours and we're here in another 5 minutes. We found them dead upon arrival and confirmed the timing. Okay, and the murder weapon. Both shots were fired from a M1911A1 .45 caliber pistol. The ballistics report will let us know more. And any witnesses? Just the next door neighbor, who claims to have heard a single gunshot. We can interview him shortly. Alright, that's it for questions then. Honestly speaking, Detective, we think it's pretty obvious what's taking place here. What do you mean? They had a reputation. They weren't exactly a happy couple. The whole town knows this. Diane was shot at point-blank range with Chris's gun, probably by Chris. He then went ahead and shot himself, as the wound is clearly self-inflicted. So you see, sending you here unnecessarily complicates things. I'm gonna question their abilities, as I'm a detective. I'm beginning to think it was a very good idea, in fact. It's obviously a case of murder-suicide, Detective. So everything's figured out already. If that was sarcasm, I'll ignore it. But yes, more or less. Are you suggesting there was domestic violence involved? It would seem so. It was never reported. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. So, rumors. You may call it that, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not sure that... And they were never really able to fit in this town. They were new here, moved in about 6 months ago. Never got out much, didn't make any friends. We don't need to analyze the obvious, Detective. That would only be inefficient. Officer Blunt will assist you through the course of your work here. Your name is Officer Blunt? Are you at all related to James Blunt? You're beautiful. Hello, Detective. Who are you? Oh, one more thing. We're looking to wrap this case up quickly and cleanly. We don't want to drag it, if it can be helped. We have an important festival coming up around in a week's time. So you might say this is, rather bad timing. Oh, how inconvenient for you. Yes, 2 people are dead. Now we can't have our festival. How the fuck are we gonna celebrate? So there's no need to go around complicating things, alright? Just get me a story that works, and we can close this case quickly. I see you are very efficient. Sarcastic reply, please. Yeah, sure. Can't wait to wrap this case up. Yeah. Alright then. I'll see you soon. And goodbye. Mr. Caterpillar Face doesn't understand sarcasm. Okay then. Anyway. Have a look around the room if you'd like. Come talk to me when you're done. Sure. Who are you? You came running in yelling for me. Hey, detective. Need any help? What's the plan? Have a look around the room. Once you're done, talk to Lieutenant Watts. Sure. I'll check out this body first. Yeah, that's a dead body, alright. What's this? A dead body. It's signed Chris 96. I'm guessing Chris built some of the furniture around this house. Oh, I thought I was looking at the corpse. I did notice that though. Alright, come on. Show me the body. Gunshot to the stomach. The damage and the residue would suggest the shot was taken at a point-blank range. That rules out the possibility of her being shot from the open window. She would have been in line of sight from the outside though. There's no mistaking it. The perpetrator would have to be inside the house to cause this kind of wound. Whether that was Chris or someone else, it's hard to say at the moment. Okay, can I look at the gun? A M1911A1.45 caliber pistol, as the lieutenant said. It looks pretty old. It can hold 7 rounds. There are 4 bullets still in here. This means 3 rounds were fired from this gun at some point of time. If 2 were fired last night, where's the 3rd? Was it used on some other day? The gun belonged to Chris, according to Lieutenant Watts. Let's assume Chris or Diane weren't the ones to use it. Is there anyone else that could have known where they kept the gun? From Pineview? I really doubt it. Remember, no signs of forced entry. Could it be someone they were comfortable with? Or trusted? No one I can think of. Okay. Well, let's look at his body. Bullet wound to the head. The skull is badly damaged. Most of the side has been blown off. His body position and the way he fell would indicate that he was sitting sideways on the chair, facing where Diane's body is now. The angle of the shot indicates that he was shot from this side. If someone shot him, they were standing in front of the refrigerator. No clues there though. He could have been shot from that window. At the moment, it's shut. Let's get a check for fingerprints and footprints outside. Could someone have entered and left through here? We should have the fingerprint results in a couple of days, detective. Don't forget, there aren't any footprints outside. If someone shot him from outside, then Chris would have sat facing the refrigerator. That would make sense. That way, the killer wouldn't have to enter the house. But in that case, who shot Diane? Examine the hand, I guess. Gunpowder residue on his right hand. Hard to disagree with the lieutenant here. This is strong evidence for the victim shooting himself. Unless it was made to look that way. The chair's fallen on its back. Looks like Chris fell off the chair before or after being shot. Okay. The bottle of wine. I need a drink. Red wine. Looks like a new bottle was opened yesterday. No one drank from this glass. It would seem that Chris was sitting by himself at the table and drinking wine, waiting for someone to join him. Probably Diane? Whether he was waiting for her or someone else, we don't know yet. A glass of wine was knocked over. It looks like wine, but there seems to be blood in here as well. How did blood splatter in this direction? Doesn't make sense. Officer Blunt, I think there's been more than the 2 gunshots we're seeing here. Huh. And the drawer? .45 ACP rounds. It's a box of 20 rounds. There are 13 here, which means 7 are missing and 2 were used last night. There are 4 left in the gun whiz we saw earlier. If 2 were used last night, there's still 1 unaccounted for. Was that used some other day? Yeah, but why wouldn't you just reload the gun then? Oh, whatever. Who are you? Not very professional. I hope they know what they're doing. Yeah, they're getting their fingerprints and cameras all over my crime scene. Get the fuck out of here. I think I've investigated everything. So I guess I better talk to, what's your name again? Officer Blunt? Shall we proceed? Sure. Yeah, I'm done. Alright, let's have a chat with Mr. Willis outside. Mr. Willis? The rain has finally let up. That's good. Back to smoking. You got me coffee. Right, this is Mr. Willis. He lives right there next door. Coffee, detective? Yes, please. Yes, thank you. You can ask him any questions you have about last night. Right, Mr. Willis. Can you tell me everything that you saw or heard during last night's events? Well, see, I'd headed off to bed around 11 p.m. as I usually do, after a glass of whiskey. Helps me sleep, you know, I don't give a shit. Anyway, somewhere around 12:15 a.m., I'd say, I was woken up by a loud bang. I ran to my bedroom window. I looked straight down at their place. I like to watch them, with my pants off, and my glass of whiskey. And? What did you see? Nothing. Their kitchen lights were on. And that's about it. I went to my phone and called Lieutenant Watts here straight away. Okay, how long did it take you to get to the window? About a couple of seconds, detective. Not more than 5, I'd say. I nearly fell out of my bed when I heard the shot, so you might say I was halfway there already. Okay. Did you see anyone at all on the street? No, detective. Everything was exactly the same as always. And you said you heard 1 gunshot. Yes, the whiskey usually knocks me out pretty good, so if there'd been more, I didn't hear them. Okay, I got some other questions, I guess. Do you live alone? Yes, I do. Never got married. It's a long story. I bet it is, Mr. Willis. Actually, I bet it's a short story, if you catch my drift. One meant to be talked over a couple of whiskeys, you know what I mean? Can anyone confirm your whereabouts? No. I was just at home, you see. Am I a suspect? It's procedure, Mr. I know Mr. Willis. He's cool. I'm gonna react to the unprofessionalism on display. We'll need to have a talk later, Lieutenant. Talk? About what? Oh, so you're the lieutenant. Okay. I thought you were the sheriff. Just later, okay? Okay, Sherlock. Whatever you say, Holmes. Okay. Did they have any visitors? No. Not at all, in fact. In all this time, I only maybe saw Jack coming over to fix their car, and Father Smith came over a couple times when they'd newly moved in. A year back, almost. Nah, people rarely ever visited them. Because they mostly kept to themselves, see? Never made any friends here. But sometimes folks don't like those kinds either. So I can't really say. Know what I mean? Not at all. No, please elaborate. You won't find anyone crying over their deaths here. Nobody really knew them. They never got out much. Okay, any other information? I don't know if this is useful, but you might have heard about Chris and Diane. They looked pretty happy when they first moved in. More recently, though, I heard Diane crying a couple of times. Usually late at night. See, the whiskey knocks me out early, so maybe that's why I never heard all this before. But a couple of times, I was up a little later. One night about a month ago, and I heard pretty bad things. There were some loud sounds, like stuff being flung around and such, see? I heard someone crying. I was thinking to myself that maybe I should call the police, and then it quieted down all of a sudden. We never received any calls for domestic violence, but people have often talked of stories of this kind. Can you remember when you heard this, Mr. Willis? Well, I was up late writing an important letter. I think it must have been somewhere between 1st and 3rd last month. 1st to 3rd September. Alright, anything else? No, that's all I know about this. Right. Thanks for your help, Mr. Willis. We'll be in touch if we need anything else. No problem. And, thanks for the coffee. You're welcome. So, Detective, you said you wanted to have a talk later. Is now a good time? Yes, Lieutenant. Please don't tell witnesses they're not under suspicion, especially not in front of them. So basically, you're telling me that I don't know how to do my job. That's exactly what I'm telling you. All I'm saying is, this case isn't all wrapped up as you'd like to believe. How can you not see what's right in front of you? It's so obvious. Mr. Willis didn't see anything outside the house after the gunshots, and there are no signs of anyone forcing entry either. On top of that, considering how rough things have been between the two of them, you heard what Mr. Willis said, right? Jumping to conclusions? Seriously? Are you seriously jumping to conclusions, Lieutenant? What has it been? Barely hours since the murder? Do you think that there's enough data to form a conclusion? Mr. Willis's account only forms a part of the complete picture. It isn't enough. Well, what about the door, huh? Oh, how was it locked from the inside? Explain that. I checked the door. It locks itself from the inside when you pull it close, regardless of whether you pull it from the outside or push it from the inside. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that there's no conclusive evidence yet. Well, fine then. Dig as deep as you like, Detective. You won't find anything new here. I was perfectly capable of handling this case myself, but of course the head department had to complicate things. In any case, Sheriff Harris will probably want to wrap up this case before the festival, so don't expect him to wait for more than a week. I have to head to the station now. Officer, escort Detective Anderson to his hotel. Will do, sir. Is this my Watson? Am I Sherlock Holmes? We'll come back in the evening to search the house. Letters, diaries, things of that sort. Officer Blunt. Oh, my partner's name is Officer Blunt. Okay, this makes more sense. Alright. When can we expect the autopsy results? Day after tomorrow, according to the coroner. But I'll confirm and let you know. I'm guessing there were more than 2 bullets shot last night. We should take another look around the kitchen to make sure. 3 bullets. But, We're actually glad that you're here, you know? Although the sheriff and Lieutenant Watts would rather not admit it. Even to themselves. This is like the first murder here in the last 100 years or so. We have no idea how to deal with it. I mean... Yeah, that's a surprise. Come on, Detective, you don't need to be rude. What? Anyway, as I was saying, I just joined the force a month back, for instance. And the murder already. I'm not sure if I'm ready. I kinda knew them, you could say. I've never known anyone that's been murdered before. You know? It's kinda weird. A bit sad. I know as an officer I'm not supposed to feel that way and all. You'll be fine. Give it time. Thanks, Detective. That means a lot. Okay, tell me about Chris and Diane. Well, not much. It's mostly what Mr. Willis said earlier. Nobody knew them, really. They came in here, kept to themselves. You'd hear stories about them. Everyone thought they were some kind of weirdos. I admit, I kind of agreed with that sentiment too. I feel bad about that now. It's no reason to make assumptions about people's character. And character can't be used as evidence. So I'd like to help figure out what the real story is. Whatever it might be. Okay, and what's this festival next week about? The sheriff said there was a festival in the town next week. What's that about? Oh, it's an annual thing. We have it every October. There's a fair on the market street. There's food, rides. We get a lot of tourists from nearby states around that time. It's a good source of revenue for some of our smaller businesses here. That, of course, is less important in light of recent events. Good to hear you say that. Of course. We can't go around trying to wrap up cases based on our assumptions, whatever the situation may be. I mean, these were people's lives that ended, and it's our job to figure out what really happened. So I guess what I'm saying is, you can count on me during this investigation. Thanks. Okay, that's all of my questions, I guess. We'll end their dialogue. I'm hoping the local police will let me do the job I've been sent here to do, though. I don't mean you. Detective, I know what you mean. Honestly speaking, Sheriff Harris is an asshole. I'm serious. He doesn't care about anything except running off home and taking it easy. This case probably ruined his plans to relax and enjoy the festival week. I hate people like that. Lieutenant Watts, though, he's really sweet. I know he comes across as a little obnoxious, but... Oh my god! I killed someone. I'm a bad detective.